What's going on? What's going on? Peace family. How y'all doing? Chef Joseph back at you again with another video. Man, see what time it is today. Today is November the 3rd and it's 7:27 a.m. November the 3rd. We're at the end of the year, y'all. Yeah, interesting. Back here with you to discuss a topic that came to me this morning. And this subject is a pretty interesting subject within itself because not a lot of people, in my opinion, not a lot of people really take time to decipher between the two categories. What are those categories? Today we're going to talk about, you ready? The real man versus the base man. The real man versus the base man. B-A-S-E. Man. Though I'm not here to throw shade at either one of the two at all. I just know what category that I fall into. And there's no shade taken or given to any particular one of the two categories here. But to y'all brothers that's listening, hey, it might be something to really kind of see what category that you actually fit in. So much to say about that. So let's get into this. I grew up part city, part country, right? And I grew up in a small town, actually. And I was raised by my mother. Father was a good man. He just moved away, after they did what they had to do. When they split up, he moved to another city to rebuild his life, and she stayed in the small town. Actually, they both lived in small towns. And with that being said, I had four uncles. And my uncles, one in particular, FJ is what I'll give you his initials. No, that's all right. Floyd Jr. That's his name. His name was Floyd, and he was, a junior. So we called him Floyd Jr. And man, I think that was one of the best things my mom did for me. Did for me and did right by me in this particular circumstance because she had four brothers. And even though she was the one that raised me, she basically made sure that I spent time in the country with my uncles and my cousins, which were boys, or young men. And that was one of the keys to my development. My uncle Floyd Jr., which was her oldest brother, was a very hard worker. He was. And I remember, it seemed like when we were younger, Floyd Jr. seemed like he worked like 7 days a week at times. And he worked at a place basically laying pipe, making steel pipes to go underneath the ground. He was a forklift driver there. He probably had other jobs, throughout his years working there. He was there for 20 years or so. And so I remember mornings, we'll be asleep, he'll be getting up to go to work at 2 a.m. in the morning. And by the time we get out of church, you know what I'm saying, he just coming home at 4 o'clock that evening. Of course, he was a little drive time in between that. And Floyd Jr., in my opinion, growing up seeing my uncle, he had some things going on because he worked so hard. So in my opinion, he didn't really have a lot of outlets, but he was good with building cars and race cars and motorcycles and all that. Matter of fact, I remember years ago, we were like real young, but he had saved up his money and purchased him a trailer. It's like a little 2-bedroom trailer. well, I think it was like 2 bedroom trailer, and basically, it was just a small little trailer. And I remember he put a deck on it, just like a little regular deck. And then from that deck, he basically enclosed the deck and made it into a living room. And from there, we looked up years later. He had basically put a whole other side on the whole trailer and bricked it all the way around and turned it into a brick house. So from like 2.5 bedrooms to 5. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To a 4 bedroom house. You know what I'm saying? Living room, I mean, wood floors, oak floors, all that. I mean, this is what he did. You know what I'm saying? And he suffered with some things in his life, from what I've seen. He suffered a little bit, by not having an outlet. I'm saying that to say that though he made mistakes, he made sure my first cousins were straight. They can't, no one can take that from him. Because if you're living in the country and you're basically no outlet, you work all the time, yeah, you're going to kind of you could possibly fall victim or subject to some things in life, you know. And, but he was a really good man, though. I remember he would go to church sometime. We had to wear suits, dress up. But he would come to church with just he'd have his necktie. I mean, he was always clean too. I ain't gonna take that from him. But he didn't live by the same standards we were made to live by. But I don't say it in a bad way, because first, he was a grown man. He did what he wanted to do. He wrote his own checks. He took care of his boys, made sure they was in school. His wife, Ailey's, God bless her soul, she was my aunt. And they raised a happy family of 3 boys, which were my first cousins, and all of them successful to this day. I'm going somewhere with that conversation. That, in my opinion, was a real man. Even with his flaws and even with his mistakes, he brought home the bacon. They never missed a meal. Hell, when I would go to the country, we never missed a meal. There was always something on that table. Though he had certain things he was dealing with in his personal life, but he still brought home that bacon to make sure his family was okay. Real man. Let's talk about base men. The base man. Again, not throwing any shade at any one of the two at all. I'm just speaking real man versus the base man. Today's base man, from what I see, is a man who has not applied himself to a craft or to his calling, which is fine. Some people may choose to apply themselves. Some people may not they may not want to apply themselves. In my opinion, the base man, he gets up, go to work, come home, eat, sleep, get up, go to work, come home, eat, sleep, get up, come to work, eat, sleep, repeat. Rinse and repeat. You get what I'm saying? Go to church on Sundays. Gets married, has a couple children, gets a dog, and that tends to be the end all be all from what I've seen. Is anything wrong with that chef? Absolutely not. If that's the life he chooses, that's the life he chooses. But there's a but in there. But what happens when the beautiful woman that he's married to, begins to wake up and see, and this is nothing against the sisters either. This is just a rough example. And it's in my humble opinion, which I'm entitled to. So what happens when he's married, and I've seen this over the years, where the woman he's married to, she desires more. She may say, she put all her dreams on hold to follow her husband. Hey, that's what the scriptures say. For real, she's supposed to follow him. That's kind of like a 50-50 right there, because in my opinion, a woman shouldn't follow a man who has no vision. That's just what it is. Our melanated women naturally will gravitate and follow our men if they are about growth and they have a sense of direction, they have a path. That's his job, is to carve out a path for himself and his family. I definitely believe that men should stay single until they find out what they're supposed to do. I don't believe that a man should bring a woman to his life unless he's actually ready. Spiritually, physically, and emotionally. I'm not saying being in the gym and be 100 pounds with muscles all over the place. Not what I'm saying. I'm just saying physically, being able to carry the load, basically. You know. And what I find is a lot of our women, they get hooked up with base men. Yes, he may have a penis. Yes, sex may be good, or sex may be good. But what happens when the thrill is gone? Because, we don't stay the same forever. Life changes. Bodies change. Things happen with the body as you go through life. What will sustain your relationship? So I find that they get a couple years down the road, several years down the road, and the woman, though it's not her fault, she says, you know what? I think I want to start drawing. This is something I always wanted to do. I want to draw. Matter of fact, I want to become an artist because I think I can do it. Well, if she's with a base man, there's a high probability that this man may not even understand. What you want to be an artist for? I thought you was good. I mean, you working over here, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you should. Why? It's kind of a red flag because, one, if I was dating, I'm actually not dating. Never been married either, actually. Um, that's a red flag because, one, he should be supportive of her vision. That's something that he should be. He should be supportive of her vision, and I definitely come to believe that if a man is with a woman, if he's not supporting her vision, and she should support his, vice versa. But, you want to support each other's vision. That's what you're together for. But so many of y'all sisters are hooked up with base men. He goes to church. He may be good wherever he's good at. He may give you some money to get your hair did. There we go. He may give you money to get your nails done, things like that. And that's great on the surface, but where is he leading you? You know what I'm saying? Where is he leading you? When I go to church, the conversation is bigger than just the church house. Y'all know that. You know what I'm saying? In today's society, a man need to have a vision, yo. And so many of y'all get tangled up with these brothers that are not offering you much. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about money either. You can scratch that off the table. I'm just talking about a place of belonging, a support system, so she can feel comfortable, so she can rest, so she can be, at ease. And our black women are going through it out here. Our brothers too, but, I'm speaking for people who look like me, nothing against nobody else. But yeah, our sisters are going through it. They're unprotected, etc. That's a whole nother subject. I had a video about that, and it's not cool. But I'm going to tell y'all men something right now, and this is what I stand by. You shouldn't even have sex with a woman unless you're ready to be with her. Seriously. Yeah. I've been known to be in relationships, I mean, not a whole lot of them, but yeah, like the average threshold for if I am going to be crossing certain lines, shoot, we go a year or 2 years for real. I'm good with that because you know why? I'm getting to know you for who you are. That's it. So you can take that off the table. I've never been the type of man to have sex on the first date, second date, third, fourth, fifth, 15th, 20th, 30th date. You know what I'm saying? I need to know who you are. And you know what? More than that, you need to know who I am. You know, because those type of things do not drive or motivate me whatsoever. I'm looking at your mindset, where you're going. And just like y'all sisters that's dating these base men, get them out your lives. There's a situation now that I'm familiar with that the sister had got hooked up with this dude. But at the end of the day, she's carrying him. You know what I'm saying? And this is not a relationship for mine, you know, just someone that I met in path of travel, you know, through business. But it was like, yeah, you know, a couple things came out, and I'm like, you dealing with a whole boy. You know what I'm saying? A 40-something-year-old boy. But that's your boo, though. That's your boo. Hey, ride or die. But I will say one thing. Yeah, I don't think none of y'all women should get with brothers who not on their game. And I know a lot of us brothers are not on our game. And I'm not going to blame all our black men. First of all, I'm not going to do that, because you had a whole society, a whole orchestration of a government that made sure that he was out the house and replaced him with all these imageries and oh, you know, I could do bad all by myself, all the music and just all the things that's been put into our sisters, you know what I'm saying, or then put into our brothers, you know what I'm saying, so it wasn't just only his fault. It was a lot of systems that have been put in place so it could halt his growth, so it could stunt his growth, you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, if y'all sisters find yourself in a situation like that, just be cool with him. Be cool with the man. You know what I'm saying? Just be cool with him. Don't cross no thresholds, because then you're dealing with spiritual soul ties. And that's another subject for another day that a lot of people are not ready for. So, real man versus base man. Which one, would you choose? But I'm going to leave y'all with that. Real men versus base men. Like and subscribe to the channel. Peace out. Thank you.